back here and we'll be good. Alright, everybody. Welcome to tonight's stream where we are checking out Pathfinder Kingmaker from Deep Silver. It was previously a fuck me. It was previously a PC game that started out on Kickstarter and is now on consoles as of Tuesday. And joining me tonight, I have Ryan with me, as we're gonna kind of go in and take a look at this with you guys together. But so then that way he can ask questions about what's happening, how we're setting up some things, because we're gonna go in and create a new game to look at a lot of the settings and features it gives, and then we'll go from there and we'll get into some gameplay as well. So again, Ryan, thank you for joining me.
Oh, glad to be here.
All right, so
Excited to check this out and uh see what it has in store.
yeah, it definitely gives a lot. So let's come down first. I want to see in settings. Okay. So we're going to come down here into settings first, and we're going to kind of go through and look at some of the things that it has to offer as far as some of the basic customization stuff that you can do. To start super basic, you can it's a single player game, so you do have your AI companions, and they can be set up and controlled either by yourself or automatically knowing what they're doing. So you can either spend their spells and use them, or you can set it to where they do it themselves. The kind of like the benefit for this having this kind of feature is it's like playing a game of D&D. A little backstory on Pathfinder is Pathfinder was made by the creators of the 3.5 rule set for Dungeons and Dragons. They brought over their knowledge from that, revised it, updated it, and kind of fine tuned it to the way they wanted it for the Pathfinder system, and that's how Pathfinder had came about. And this is all highly implemented in this game. Before I have covered Divinity, I've played it on stream here with everybody, and I had praised that for being the closest representation to playing that kind of like tabletop RPG setting on a game. This game here dwarfs that, and I believe once we go into and start the new game, we'll see even more of that and what it offers than what was shown here. I just couldn't exactly remember which spot had exactly what we wanted to look at. So let me come down here. Yeah, so I think we definitely want to go into... Oh no, some of it is down here. So down here, where we're at with the auto pause, and again, I'm sorry if I kind of like jump around, just because there is a lot of different things and not exactly sure where some things are, because they do show it to you in the beginning and then they show it to you later and when you're setting up. Auto pause is kind of like where it becomes somewhat turn-based, but turn-based as in the sense that you're defining how it's turn-based and how it automates if you choose it to automate or not. So with like this first couple with keep moving after combat stop and pause if you run into an object, what'll happen is as soon as it shows the encounter, the game will go into the pause mode, which you can undo by pressing square, and it'll show you like lines to the attacker. You can set who you're going to attack and kind of some stuff like that, and then you can unpause it, and it'll keep going on and auto moving it. Or if you have it off, then you can set them to move yourself and take care of them yourself like that. So
Something you can turn on and off like once you start the game.
yeah, you can
You can
always
go
go
in
in
there.
here and customize and tune this. If you find something doesn't work for you or you need to adjust it depending where you're at, because also some of the things that I mentioned about this is it's also a really demanding and can be difficult game because of how closely represented it is to the book. Like there's people saying on normal difficulty they're having a hard time where you'll have multiple saves, reloading saves, so you might find out like at one point, having the setting off might help you, but then you might get further along, more gear or something, and then it might hinder your how you're able to play at this point because it's a constantly evolving game depending what's going on with your characters. And
um see it being turned on and off when we're in the game and playing. Um, I
okay,
think that'll give a good idea of like what that actually means, and
okay,
if people like um would like it on or off that way.
right, yeah, we can check that out. So, like I said, like when I was kind of mentioning to you when we were talking about kind of doing a stream like this, we're gonna go into new game first, and we're gonna kind of see how the overall initial setup is. But then I believe so that we can kind of get into it and see the game in action, I'm going to back out and go to where I am, which is really not super far into the actual game itself, but it's far enough ahead to where we're doing things, we're exploring, and that much. We're not going to have a lot of that tutorial-ish stuff in the beginning.
Yeah, so we're gonna go make a new character.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going to come in here and we're going to check out what it has to offer as far as setting your game up. So another thing to mention with this is like they're even though it isn't titled on there as like definitive edition or like complete edition, this game also does include all 6 DLCs packaged with it. Um, so we have our main story scenario and the 2 other DLCs that are available right now, which is Vernon's Lot and Beneath the Stolen Lands. Um, Beneath the Stolen Lands kind of takes place, it's an underground, it's in the depths. If you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, it would be what the Underdark would be considered.
Oh, when you're here and you select a scenario, you can't like the DLCs don't kind of like branch off of the main story. You have to choose which one you want to go to and jump in.
Um, that I am not totally sure of. Um,
Because it
I
looks like
haven't.
you're choosing your scenario here.
Yeah, so I believe you can start at each one of these points, but I think before you were able to progress from, like, if you start with the main story, then you can progress into the next one or into one of the others.
Okay, so this is just like if you wanted to jump into these things that would normally be
Yeah,
farther down.
if
Okay.
you already played through, or like the other thing is this game offers like a ton of replayability because you can make different classes, different parties, different setups.
Yeah.
You can play different ways. Because one of the cool things is like the game's built around ultimately making this kingdom. The story in the beginning sets you up with you going to find out what's going on in this land, and your ultimate goal is to go in there, take out the person that's there, and then establish it as your own. And then the game builds on everything from there.
All right, let's see the what's next. The character maker,
Okay,
or
so
okay,
what's
so we
next
get to choose
is
difficulty.
selecting your difficulty. We have everything from custom all the way up to unfair. And this is where we can actually set up a lot of the things of how the game's going to react. The one I was starting on to kind of learn how everything worked is the story mode, which is just a little bit easier than easier. But there was a lot being said that I've read about to where it can be super difficult until you grasp how all the systems work together.
Okay.
So from here is where you can fine tune that experience. So if you come down so story is where I'm playing. It has critical hits off, so like the enemies can't do crits on me. Um, Death's door is also turned off, so like if a character dies in combat, once combat ends, I'll be able to res him and bring him back up. It won't go into the system to where you're gonna have to try to save against death. Otherwise, you'll completely die and it won't be in there at all.
Now let's scroll down, see what else is there. See the whole menu.
Alright, so we can set, auto level up for your other characters. That's nice if you're not trying to really like min max or manage every single person besides the main one you're gonna play. They have Invincible Kingdom. If your kingdom comes attached, because like I said, a big part of this is building up your kingdom, protecting it, establishing defenses and stuff like that. Um, skill users receive skill check experience. Immersive mode, which takes away all the interface hints and stuff like that. And then below we just have like some combat text and stuff.
Okay.
So
So
we'll
it's very, very customizable. That's cool.
yeah, which it was actually like the first time when you first load in this, you see all this, you're not quite sure what it was. It was like, whoa, what is this? There's a lot there.
Yeah.
Which again is super impressive because like the price point with this is also $30, and it was originally designed as a Kickstarter game. So we're just gonna leave this here, and we're gonna go in, and now we come to where we can create our character, or we can choose one of their preset heroes that if you play Pathfinder, if you play the card game even, you'll recognize most of these heroes and stuff from the actual game, from the card game.
So you can't just jump in with a
Yeah, so you can
preset character in each class.
yeah, so they have like the fighter, protector. We have our paladin.
Now, can you go in and like start with this and then edit it, or is it if you want to make any customizations, you have to start a whole new character?
No, you can go in, and once you're playing and level up, you can choose if you want to auto level where it sets stuff or define the settings yourself. Or
No, I mean like so if you wanted to start with Hedwig, but you wanted to right now go in and adjust something on him, you couldn't do that.
let's click in here, and yeah, it gives you
Oh, okay, so
slight
you
choices.
can.
So you can kind of like within the scope of how his character is going to be, it'll allow you to adjust some things.
Okay. So yeah, that means you don't have to if you want to mix it up a little bit, you don't have to start a whole new character. You can kind of start with the template.
Right, you can set with your pre-made, and then you can kind of like the game's gonna have it set up to what playing a paladin's like. But then like here you can choose its alignment. Like how are you gonna play it? Are you gonna be a good character? Are you gonna be kind of like a bad character when it comes to decision making and the choice prompts and stuff that it'll give you? And then since they're preset as well, you'll be able to. So
I didn't even break a sweat.
So it
Calm down.
You
Not
can go in
dead
and
yet.
then choose the voice and all. So we'd leave it like that. And I believe his name.
We will be victorious.
The name for this though will stay the same. So that's one thing that you won't be able to change here. Versus if you
okay.
completely made your own character and customized it
So
that way.
You can't hit square and change that.
Oh, we did. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this might have been part of the there was a nice, decent sized day one update. To where I wasn't able to do this last time. There wasn't the option for this, for choosing there.
Okay. So yeah,
So
I mean
we
that's
could
good.
cover
I sometimes like doing that instead of
Yeah.
starting from complete scratch. Like I know I want to be a fighter, but I want to make some adjustments to their built-in class.
Yeah. And the good thing, like this, like I said, it's a tabletop role-playing game. It really, it shows that. It really dives deep into that. So, if you're not like some crazy hardcore player that wants to go in and min-max your character out with stats and having it, exactly, you can go with these pre-made templates and then dive right in there and still have just as good as a
What
time.
what does birth date have to do with anything?
I'll go ahead.
Let's see here.
Does that have an effect on in D&D? I don't know.
No, that's just kind of like role playing aspect of it. Like just because you
Okay.
could set.
I don't know if like on Decimus 4th you're gonna get a birthday party or something.
Yeah, not that I've seen or that has mentioned anything about anything like that.
Okay.
And it looks like it kind of it's set to just one of those 12 months and then the day out of 30. So there isn't even a year defined with it.
Oh yeah, you can't even choose how old you are.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just wondering if that had a impact in D&D or not.
Nah, not really. Like
This
for
will
that,
hurt.
it would depend.
Is
on
there like anything like astrology signs in D&D?
There is a lot of that stuff. Somewhat is kind of like just for fun and more on like the role playing side of it.
Okay.
To where this is kind of going to have a little less of the role playing, besides the decisions you'll be making, because it also this here is a game. It's a game as well. So some of the stuff it'll be like more heavier towards to where other things that would happen if you were doing that would be a lot less loose, because it's still telling the story, it's still having you create and do all these different things, but it's still somewhat attuned to how you're going to do this and the choices you're going to make.
Okay. So if we start here, is there going to be like a story intro?
It's going to load up.
Yeah.
And then I think it starts like... I remember it starting like pretty quick, like right in with, okay, here's what's happening, this is what's going on. And it looks
I figure
like
we'll see the beginning of your new character, and then you can switch over to the
yeah.
your higher end character and see what a little bit more down the road looks like.
Our story started at the mansion of an Aldori sword
The road
lord,
to glory.
drawn by the promise of a most
And I
dangerous
wish you could
task
hear
and
this
a
too, 'cause,
commensurately
like, the
huge
voicing
reward.
and the voice
Heroes
acting
of
for
all
this is
stripes
amazing.
gathered here.
Oh, okay. So somebody's narrating this.
Yeah, this is narrated. A lot of the stuff that's spoken is, unless you stop it, it'll kind of like, if you have like names changed and stuff, it'll be like a little less specific where it says.
Where are they? This is taking forever! They didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
Like all this right here, everything that Amiri just said is voice acted.
If you can't be patient,
just
no
not
one's keeping you
reading
here.
all this
Just go
text
back
and
to your
everything.
mountains or whatever hole you
Yeah,
crawled
and then
out
people
of.
on the stream,
Aldori sword
you can
lords run
hear
the
it.
premier
But
school for the dueling arts.
fortunately, with the
They're
setup
also
we
the
have,
richest and
I'm
most
not able to hear
influential
the
group in
game
this part
sound,
of
so
Brevoy. Take that tone
I'll
with
be
them,
reading
and
along.
they'll teach you some manners pretty quickly.
All right, you purple toad, just shut your trap. And if you can't, I'll help you.
And then like for you, Ryan, too, even the voice acting with this, like she said that. She was like, alright, you purple toad, shut your trap. And like you can hear like her tone of character behind her voice as well. That's like one of the first things that grabbed my attention was actually the voice acting of the game, especially like I said for a Kickstarter as well. It's super, super impressive.
yeah.
Hush! Quiet!
Yeah, that's good to see,
They're
especially
coming.
for a game like this.
And even like this little character here, Lindsay, she's a little, I believe, gnome, I believe. So she's real tiny, so you hear her voice and she's like, hush, quiet. And you can kind of hear like the little squeak in her voice and everything too. So like the voices also really fit into the characters as well as how you'd kind of imagine them.
Is this the king or
Greetings, everyone. I am Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Selimius of Restov.
Yeah.
Welcome to my mansion.
So it's like
Sword Lord?
Yeah.
That's my new title.
Sword Lord.
Yeah,
they're kind
Sword
of like
Lord.
the barons and stuff set up for this. This is kind of like how this world's set up is with like barons and lords and the general like kind of rule over the lands.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call. You may be few, but that's unavoidable.
How come Joe
We
doesn't
need
have
only
a...
the best of the best for this task.
Or is that...
And I see
Isif?
true heroes before me, strong and fearless. Exactly
He doesn't have a
what
picture.
Restov needs.
That's weird. But it does like the first part there where it says the mayor middle-aged man. That's kind of describing him right there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Lord
Guess
Mayor.
he wasn't
Now, to the
there
point.
for picture day.
South of
Yeah.
here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen Lands. This is disputed territory, and while it's long been claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities. Suffice to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the stolen lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion, well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge it. Of course, Restov would be first to recognize the legitimacy of this new state, as well as the noble title of its founder. Unfortunately, one serious obstacle stands between you and this title. A gang of bandits holds sway in the Stolen Lands. Their chief, who they call the Stag Lord, considers himself the rightful owner of these lands, and no one has yet been able to challenge his power. Bring me his head, and you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands as their legal ruler. Any questions?
Alright, so now we're going to start getting into where we can start making choices as far as what our characters are saying and what's going on as well. So we'll show a little bit of this before we go back out and then go get into combat and whatnot. So now it presents you with choices, and you can pick how you want to go about this. So Ryan, which one would you like us to use?
Clear as day.
Alright, so this
No, hold on. Okay, that's gonna end it, right? Okay.
Let's go. I was
Yes,
going to go
four.
4? Okay, yeah, because I was going to go on and say, like, they kind of give you different options depending, like, they do a pretty good job, too, of, like, what are your interests, like, okay, if you just want to get on with it, then yeah, you can pick It's Clear as Day. We're going to move on to the next bit. But then if you want to try to find out more, they kind of give you a decent amount of options of how you're going to go with the conversation. So we're going to select 4.
And what reward would you seek beyond a noble title and your own lands?
And then he gives a little bit of a reply here.
We'll absorb the costs of preparing and equipping your expeditions. Once you return victorious, Restov will also allocate you a significant sum to provide financial support for you to establish your country. Essentially, we'll help you build your capital. I hope such a reward is satisfactory.
So when you choose a response, is it voice acted as well?
Yes.
And does it say exactly what the text says, or is it like a rewording of?
No, I'm sorry. Your selection is not voice acted, but
okay.
the replies from it that we're getting now are.
Okay. All right. Hold on, that.
Words. Significant, financial. I can't fill my belly with pretty words.
And then now you also have, like, another character just kind of butted in because of your question.
Of course. There will also be an official banquet held in your honor. All of Rostov's high society will gather to celebrate your feat.
Now you're talking.
And then, okay, for this one too, then it'll allow you to go through and select the other ones as well, unless you pick that it says clear as day. So now with this, we can go in and see what else. But sometimes it'll be, you'll select a choice and then they'll give the replies and then it'll be the end of it and you won't get to go back and ask those other questions. And then sometimes you will. Since they're kind of, at least for this step of it, they're each kind of pertaining to different things.
Yeah, but why don't you choose one?
Alright, there's the whole team of us?
Yeah.
I will, of course. I'm the leader of this team, after all. Don't worry, though. I'll make it worth your while to help me.
We haven't yet begun, and you already speak of divvying rewards. What makes you think we'll even succeed? There's little point arguing over who gains the title when we'll most likely lose our lives there.
If I may please answer the question.
And then, like, the other part too, like, with here, Ryan, for you, where it says she clears her throat, she actually did clear her throat as part of the voice acting before she said that.
We believe you're all equally deserving of a noble title. Over the course of your expedition,
yeah, I
it
guess
will
we
be
can
up to
move
you
on
as
now.
a team to decide which of you is best suited to rule. Excellent. You venture forth tomorrow. For now, you can take some time to get to know one another better. Or you can head straight to your guest rooms to get some rest. You'll find we've already prepared supplies for you there. And thank you again for agreeing to take part in this expedition. I wish you luck.
Thank you again, with all my heart, for replying to this call. The flare in your eyes reveals your courage, the unshakable will that distinguishes true heroes. I look at you, O champions of Restov, and doubt not for a second that you'll be victorious. So venture forth toward your feet. Go, and return in triumph.
Chris, yeah, actually this had came out on PC, I think a year or two ago. And now it just finally is coming over to consoles, which was super surprising and really awesome.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though this is my first real adventure. So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
Okay, and then from here you start interacting with a couple of the characters. You can do some more talking, and then it kind of goes into a little bit more tutorial parts of the stuff where you'll go in and get into combat. So I'm going to back us out now and then jump us into where I'm at, which is a little bit ahead of this, so we can see like the world map, how you get around, and the different things that gives to offer. As long as there isn't any more you want to see here, Ryan.
Oh, that's good. Gives me an idea of the conversation, how it works. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and like I said, I really wish you could hear this because I think you would really appreciate the detail in the voice acting, and like I said, coming from how this is and how it
Yeah,
was.
that would be a big thing to get you through playing it.
Oh, that's awesome. So right here,
it saves your characters right there.
By character, so it shows, okay, here's his save, and then Meliku is who I picked, and we can come down and we can see it does a bunch of auto saves, and then I have where I actually saved, and wow, this is actually really detailed, because I've always just hit continue, so I haven't really messed with this part too much, but that's actually showing the map of actually where I'm at. Once we load in here, you're gonna see this. So let's get this loaded here.
I am prepared.
Yeah, Chris, definitely, if you like Pathfinder, if you know about it, even if you know about Dungeons & Dragons and stuff like this, I would definitely give this a look.
Yeah, this seems like, all the kind of stuff you'd want from a Dungeons & Dragons console experience, like all this attention to detail about showing you exactly where you are on your save and stuff like that.
There's definitely a lot of detail. And like I said before, I praised Divinity as being the closest thing of what it's like to actually play a session, which it still isn't at very, very high, but like even more fine-tuned and refined to that experience, I believe, is how this game itself feel. So, we are loaded in here. With my left stick, I'm able to move around and pick kind of direction I want to move. The little marker is kind of the area of where I was at. So we're gonna...
Marker that you're selecting there?
Yeah. See, when you're on here, it'll always be like wherever you're at is what it'll highlight. So let's move out of here. And then you've got this little figure of the horse and all. And then from there you can select which way you want to go. The parts with the broken arrow, like where I'm pointing, is I can go explore that way. And some of these roads are uncovered and some of these aren't, and you're going to uncover them as you start taking different paths. Wherever the little yellow circles are there with the white in the middle, that's where different interactions have happened. Like some have been like there's a bandit on the side of the road, or there's a camp
Okay,
to
so
check
those are
out, or
places you've
towns.
already been.
Yeah, and like
Okay.
the tree up top is like a little like establishment type area. So let's keep heading on this way. And it's gonna pop up like this, like boom, random encounter. There's somebody on the road. Get ready. And now we come in here, and it gives us a little bit of information about what's going on. This doesn't happen every single time, depending on the area you're coming into. And yes, Chris, this is like D&D 3.5. Pathfinder was designed by the people who created the 3.5 rule set, so you'll heavily see those influence here, if that's what you're more familiar with. So now, since we have we got some more options here, you know, if you have detect magic, you can try to analyze this fog that's going on, which they're kind of they explained as this is an effect that the Stag Lord has going out to try to confuse and take out adventurers. You can also try to light your way with a torch, or there is nothing you can do, so you're not going to go in there and going to go the other way. So here, Ren, I'll let you do the choices. And
Do you have detect magic ability?
believe I do. Because I do have a
Alright,
mage
well,
with me, so let's
try that.
see what
Seems like the
happens here.
safest. Alright, I guess we'll now use the torch.
Alright.
Okay, so I guess you can't get through then.
And this was one of my first like encounters with the actual fog, and like they said, they're not sure what's creating it, so it is this magical fog. Certain things aren't going to work. This is something that could happen in game as well. So right now, there's nothing we can do, so we're gonna choose this option and then see where we can move on to.
So theoretically, at a certain point, you may then get some sort of ability that would allow you to get through the fog, right?
Yeah, or actually run in or find out, because right now you're trying to locate the Stag Lord and exploring. So see, I kind of put that right there, so that we got moved backwards.
Yeah.
So it moved us away there. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back this way, and then see if I can go down around the other way or if I run into it again. Because I've kind of been up and around those ways already. I've been trying to kind of section off
See if we
where I'm
can
going.
get to that lake.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got fog down there
and we
too.
know we ran into the fog, but now we know, okay, detect magic didn't work. We can't light our way through yet. So we're gonna have to go backwards now.
Okay. So even if it's just fog, it still says there's somebody on the road.
Yeah, because it's gonna be a random encounter, and you're not really gonna know what's happening until you get in there. Kind of because
So it looks like you can go along the river there now.
yeah, we'll try to lead along that way. 'Cause, you know, like what happens in D&D 2 is you'll come to this area and you can be exploring, and then you could run into something. And we've run
man,
into
this
the
fog.
fog, so this area really seems to be. So now I'm gonna have to try to backtrack some.
Yeah, it looks like
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make that, so I'm gonna. Let's come up this way a little more. I've been into there, but maybe now we'll try to cross that way and up. Okay, we don't want to go in there. Okay, so now this is another thing, like, in game that would happen is, like it says now, everybody's fatigued. It's going to give these -2 penalty to the different things there. You can either, if you wanted to move on, if you're like a super advanced player, you knew how to deal with this, you can boom move on, or you can begin resting. What we're gonna do here is begin resting, so I can kind of show you this and see what it allows you to set up here with basically making your camp. And for this part, it doesn't really load you into an area, but it brings up this screen here. And right now we don't have many people to play around with in Switch. Eventually you can have a full party of 6 to where you'll have more people that you can switch around their roles. But you're always setting up these sets of roles with hunting, camp camouflage, cooking. Once you get a companion that has a special, and your guards as well.
Okay, so do you have to set all of this right now?
Yeah, right now they're preset. I don't have to set or change anything. If I had
Okay.
more people, I could fine tune it if I want to make things better, because like they all have
Okay.
a chance to succeed, because in the background everything is also stat and roll based. That's kind of where it gives like hunting, if that person has a 6 to that, to where the guy that's actually camouflaging the camp is taking a negative penalty to that, because that's not what he's actually good at doing.
Okay.
So far for these, I've just been starting with it. A couple have gone good, a couple have gone bad, so we'll see what happens here.
Your sword is so amazing. I could never have imagined someone wielding such a huge blade.
Everyone died except for her.
Right?
They
took it from
what's
a
going
frost
sorry
giant
for you,
as a
Ryan?
trophy.
What's going on right now
I
is that
slaughtered
text that's
so
going
many
on
of
the
them
side
giants
is
with it.
actually all voice
Now
too.
when they hear my name,
They're
they
kind
shit
of
okay.
their
at each other
pants.
as time's going by. And then now that they kind of talked, it's showing you over here what happened. So our hunter was successful in getting us food and getting rations. Because for resting it shows we have to use 4, we have 24. But because he was able to create some, we didn't really take a negative from that yet.
Okay. And then the cook didn't do a very good job, even though she had like a high chance of success, though.
Yeah, even though she had a higher success, that roll could have been bad. Just like when you're playing, you could roll bad too. Like you could have a really good stat, but if your roll doesn't back up the stat as well, it can be negative. And like it shows here, it shows it might reveal the camp because it smells that bad, because it was bad, and it's also not camouflaged as good.
Okay.
So then we're gonna continue here. And then now we're back. So nothing really bad happened right there. Like I said, it's been kind of hit or miss for something does. I was attacked once. But now we're going to be everybody's rested up and we're good to keep moving until the game has us fatigued again.
All right, let's see what's up that way then.
Alright, do we want to go to the right, up, to the left?
Yeah, let's go to the right.
Alright, so
Yeah.
go that way.
Obviously that's gonna connect.
Okay,
Oop.
so now the question mark popped up and we can actually go in there. So it gives you a little description up in the side. Lily Sabi Lowland swamp area.
Let's check out the swamp.
Oh, cool. So then over here too, when you press R1, brings out a bigger scale of the entire map of the area, so you can really see where you're at.
Okay.
Alright, so let's come down into here then. And then again, it's going to pull up a little bit, and it's, for here, it's giving us an option, okay? We know we want to do this, so we're going to select option 1, but if you maybe accidentally clicked in there, or clicked and decided, okay, maybe I don't want to do this, it gives you the option to say, hey, no, we're not going to do this, and we're going to go somewhere else. But we're going in here.
Yeah, it looks creepy, but I want to see what these humps are.
This is the first time it's giving me more stuff like this. So we're gonna keep examining, so hopefully it brings us in there. And we're just gonna keep pushing forward because I want to see if it actually brings us into this area. If not, this is a completely new encounter that I haven't run into one like this yet.
Nope, still going.
No, we're still going. We got two options here.
Nobody
think-
has an athletics of 14 that would probably fail.
I believe what this is going to show is, I'm not sure because I don't have a rogue. Somebody like that would be the one that would be good in that. So the 14 is what you would want to try to hit. Okay. Oh, cool. So now when you press this, like how it shows open glossary down there, you can click and it shows that the DC is 14. My roll to it has a -9, so there's no way I'd be able to roll even something that matched that. So now we know we can select that first option. And then here it continues on with some more story. And again, we can see that my guy has a +8 and we need to have a 15. So we're going to roll this and see what happens. Alright, and then it shows up here that we succeeded. And it's telling you more about the story right now, and it showed that we gained some experience since we succeeded in that. Just like if you're playing through every little thing you do, you're gaining experience from in the role-playing game. Yeah, this is a really long one.
Yeah.
Like I said, this is my first time running into one like this, so the verity of what they have to offer as how they're telling the story and how different events are happening are spread pretty wide. Like I said, there's been a few places.
Is this being narrated too?
No, this part is not being
No,
narrated.
okay. Alright.
So this is kind of like your story. You're reading through, you're making the choices. So we do have a couple. We do have our bard with us, which has a knowledge. So I think maybe we're gonna go for this one and see what happens.
Yeah.
And we succeeded. So we're gonna get the information that's given to us about the area in more detail because we succeeded. Where if we would have went with one of those other choices, we might not have gotten this extra bit that it's giving us. So now we got these three options, and I'll let you choose, Ryan.
Obviously, we're gonna peek inside the hut.
Alright. Oh, wow.
So you got a whole bunch of
Yeah, we got a short
swords
sword,
and armor and
leather armor, and 137 coins. Which is pretty nice because I took 200 earlier in the game and I got yelled at for it.
Yeah, well, let's keep going. This seems like a cool place.
Alright, let's move forward.
That's not a good picture.
Nope. And it's awesome that it's sketched like that too, that it's kind of, it's showing what's happening and all.
Yeah. So what are our options?
Alright, let's scroll down here. Alright, so we have mobility, strength, and we ran. I can, mobility, we have a +5 to with her, and we have a +4 with him.
I don't know. I mean, there's a better chance with the mobility, but that's still not very good, is it?
At least it's a positive, so with that, I think hers was, what, a +5?
Yeah, and
So
his is a
it would
+4.
have to be, everything, all rolls are out of 20, so it would have been an 11. Should have to roll an 11 or higher. You know, in the background, you know, the game's doing those rolls for us.
Yeah.
But that would be like an 11.
Yeah, let's go for it. Mobility. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Let's continue on.
Oh my god. Wow.
Ooh.
Like, wow. Okay, so it's a +4 to religion. And, what happens down here where it says lawful good or neutral, depending on, like, what your alignment was, I believe for him, since he was a paladin, I was playing him as a lawful good character. It's more beneficial when you make the choices, or you could learn that, you know, it kind of gives you within a couple steps of what their alignment is.
Let's go with 1.
Alright, we're gonna do the lore?
Yeah.
Alright. Chris, thanks. No problem. Thanks for stopping by. Definitely check it out, and definitely let us know in group what you think about it if you do end up grabbing it. And, I'll definitely be back with more as well later on in the week or over this weekend. Alright, we succeeded. Look, you're on a roll, man. You're a natural at this stuff.
I'm on a roll.
Oh, damn it. Lee, I'm pretty sure you heard that one across the seas. You still there?
Yep.
Okay.
The Seattle reeks of evil. Suddenly, Malaku grabbed the dragonfly and held it in front of his mouth. Oh gods, did he just eat it? I don't know. I don't think there's anything sinister about it. I think let's just leave it alone.
We're gonna go with neutral?
Yeah.
Alright.
I don't like any of those other 2 options. Okay.
Alright, and that
All
was that encounter right there, which, like I said, is a completely new one for me. Most of them, like, I've went into a little village and helped save them and kind of was able to get some more information on the Stag Lord, which he was mentioned in the beginning. That's who we're trying to reclaim the stolen lands from.
Anyway, we could, without really knowing what any of these are going to do, show off the combat before we finish up?
Let me just try going, and then what I can kind of do is just power through.
I was expecting to... Okay, so you spotted enemies. Yeah. I always want to see the combat, like the
yeah,
action.
I was hoping to show that off too. That's why I was like, most of the things I had ran into have been combat based. So that's like I said, that was the first story thing I do. So, you know, this is what I'm used to. You get loaded into the area. The game does a really good job at auto-saving as well. So now here, you know, on the left, we're still seeing all of our characters there. R2 can pull up our menu. So this is the menu of the game, which is really cool because it's done in cards. And then, sorry, you have to hold it. But then when you click, it's going to raise up for which one you're going into, and then you can, like, select X to do it. But, like, you can set up, like, formations of how your party goes. You can see your spells, more about the character equipment, and when they level up, there'll be a separate one for that. So I thought that was pretty neat how they did the menu just not being loaded into another screen that then has all this. Oh, holding it loads into there too, so this will kind of show it. But let's get back out of here and let's move on. So you start off in control. And then you can also hit the pause, which if there's enemies and stuff, you can kind of freely look around, and we can see up here, okay, we got some of these guys that we're going to run into. So let's unpause here. And move up that way. And now this is what I was talking about once, as soon as we've got initiated into combat now. So it's going to go into that pause menu so we can kind of set some things up if we want to. So we could select here, and then we can select
This
that.
will hurt!
I want one to attack there. I want another guy to come up and hit this one.
Let us strike as one!
And then I want... Did I select her? Select her to come up for
Tear them apart!
this guy as well. So now we have 2 coming at each. Once you make your selections, then you can hit square again to unpause, and it's going to start automating the choices. Oh, and we had a guy that tried to sneak up on us back there. So now we we murdered those guys a bit. And I'm going to be able to...
A might.
Yep.
Yeah, might.
Select in here, grab that. Also, another really cool thing it does is at the end, so we're not going to loot these guys, we're just going to keep going and do some more combat. At the end, it's going to show you, like, you don't have to worry about missing something. It'll show you at the end what's still there drop-wise. And you can choose if you want to grab it or just leave it in the area.
Alright. Any sort of camera control here? You can move it that way. Can you zoom out at all? That you're aware of? No.
Not that I am aware of.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah, so there's the click. There's select everybody. There's the left and right. Oh wait, here we go. Highlight objects. I know in... Brightness camera. Let's just double check. Action stops. Yeah, so it's just gonna be move the combat. Oh, here we go.
Zoom out, yeah, with the D-pad.
There we go. So you can...
Yeah, that would be more what I'd be looking for.
Yeah. And then if you really want to get in while combat's going, you can zoom in like that.
Get a better view of everything.
Yep. So let's just look around here real quick, see if there's anything else. The blue is kind of like the border of the area that you're in.
I need a challenge.
You know, as you're walking around, she was...
Sometimes, like, you know, like, secrets that you can find in the areas.
Yeah, you might find, like, an extra encounter, or, like, one area I went into, we had an encounter at the bottom, but then I was able to get up, like, the side and go up, and there was some stuff back there. One of them I beat a bunch of people, and I didn't see it at first, but as I was exploring around, there was a guy that I was able to save. You know, I kind of said...
This is direct control, right? You're moving the analog stick and they're walking.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing all this. You have direct control over them.
Alright, let's go over to the left there. There's another part of the map.
Let's go.
And then, like, as we're going to, you can't hear it, but she's like, let's go, or I need something to kill. Like, they each kind of have some sayings and stuff. So you get that little bit of banter as they're going. So that was pretty much it for this little area here.
Right, yeah, that's a small little chunk of space.
And like I said too, is I am playing this one is on story mode, so it's also pretty easy. It was so I could get familiar with the controls and how the game worked. Because like I had mentioned too, as I said, it can be quite punishing when you're playing up on like the normal difficulty if you're not supplied right or have the right things. It could quickly go south.
Alright.
So we're going to leave here. And this is where I'm going to show. This is...
Alright, so it's telling you, hey, this is all the stuff you missed.
Yeah, and then so I can grab that because I want that. I can grab that because I can sell that. I'm not really worried about this because we have armored and stuff, because if we carry too much weight, depending on the party, that will over-encumber us, and that would affect us negatively. So like right now, as long as I don't need it, I haven't really been grabbing it.
And is so aside from being worrying about encumbrance, normally you'd still take stuff you didn't really need, and with the option to sell it later, is that an option to do also?
Yeah, yeah. So you could take
Yeah.
like I've got some stuff sitting in here, like these stones. I've always made sure to grab all the potions off them. A couple of these weapons here as well, and I can sell that stuff off, unless I had to
Now,
equip it to sell.
I've never played a game of an actual like tabletop game of D&D. Would you have this much stuff in an inventory on a tabletop game?
Yeah, you could. It's there's when you're creating like encounters on a tabletop game, there's like tables of like the rating, how much EXP, what kind of loot you get. Depending on the person that would be DMing for you, you could be like, "Hey, I'm looking for this thing," and they could also go, "Okay, well, roll me a percentile die or high or low for for favorable results or something like that." Within the group, and depending on who's running the game, they could decide something like that too. Like if you're looking for something and you're in a spot where maybe you might be able to find it, they could go, "Hey, yeah, let's do a roll for it."
More about whether or not you'd have all of this stuff in your party.
Yeah,
Like
because each
would you like have all of this stuff tracked, like this
yes,
bow, this shield, all these
yes,
potions and these pieces of paper? I don't know what they are, spells maybe.
yeah. Some of these are different scroll spells that I can use.
So all of this would be tracked even in the tabletop version.
Yes, yes. Each character would have tracked what they have on them. With this, I have it shared since I have all these characters together. But you could
Yeah.
kind of break it down and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
And then you can
All right,
sort
cool.
there. It gives us a bunch of sorting options. And then you can go through and see as well individually.
Yeah, break it down by chunk.
Yeah, break it down
Category.
by like what it is and stuff like that.
All right.
And,
So then you just go back to the map and
yeah, so now that we're done here, it was just a little random, like kind of random encounter.
I'm listening.
And then it's going to load us back to the map, and we're going to keep moving on there with our adventure, because we are trying to find the Stag Lord or any information on him. Like I said, one of my previous encounters was a village, and I saved them, and then they gave some information on it, or where to head, and stuff like that.
now can this be zoomed out too?
Okay, so that
Is it
quick clicks around like that.
is there like a big giant world map or anything?
There is. We actually,
Okay, so that's
with the, yeah, okay, so with the
Okay.
left stick, when it goes into this cursor where we kind of have the free select, we can move around
Okay.
and check out the entire map that it's giving us here.
okay. That's cool. Looks like they want you to go north because they're blocking you south with that fog.
Yep.
And do you have like and I know you're just wandering around here, but do you have like a quest log? Or anything like that? Or is it just wander around until you find what you're looking for?
Let's actually go in and check the journal.
Okay.
Okay, and we did.
Alright, so you do, yeah.
Here is, so prologue, that was kind of what we did, that's completed. Stolen Lands is where we're at and working around, so
It's like if you hit triangle, you can take the completed quests out. Yeah, there you go.
So then, yeah, we can see what we're working on. It shows the different steps.
Now, if you choose one of these, does it then show on the map, or can you choose one, or is it
No,
just
it's not letting
no?
me
Okay,
select one, but these are things that you're working on, that you're working towards finding the spots where they are. Like, like you would in the game, you would be going out to adventure to do these things.
Okay.
Like the tombs.
So somewhere out there, there's a temple of the elk.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
there's going to be that Temple of the Elk somewhere. I went through the ancient tombs this morning. It was real cool. Like, you came in, you just missed the guy you were looking for. It kind of gives you clues about that. Had a little encounter there and then continued on.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this seems pretty cool. Um, there's obviously been bigger combat encounters that you've experienced, right? Than that.
Yeah, like in the beginning, like I was in that big mansion. We were going through the mansion trying to escape. There was like a corridor that was filled with fire. We had to make choices getting through there. Um, there's been a couple longer battles where I was getting attacked by like thieves and rogues that were in stealth because they were the ones attacking the castle. Um, Definitely a lot bigger ones than we've seen here in this set location. And from what I've seen from other gameplay, when I was trying to like look into some information about the game too, to see, I kind of looked into stuff to see what would be the best way to showcase this and stuff to talk about. And so I had some more knowledge about exactly how it worked. Like there's definitely some bigger battles and bigger places to explore. And like I said, eventually, like I want to show this off down the road because getting past this Stag Lord part then opens up the rest of the game to where you're building your kingdom, you're doing the stuff to make it bigger and develop it and keep it from being attacked and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. Like almost like base building.
Yeah. So it's got like a little bit of everything, and like I said, this is everything that could happen in a role-playing game.
Yeah.
You could decide, okay, I want to go. Obviously this is telling a story and setting up for that, but you could decide to do that. If that's like a module you want to run or an idea that you wanted your DM to run, you could veer off from his story and be like, all right, we're creating the city or town or kingdom, and that could become part of it then.
Cool. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. I look forward to seeing what you have to say once you get even farther in.
Yeah, I'm excited to get further too, see what kind of more encounters show up. Really get into the part where I start building and working on the kingdom. Also learning more about like how the characters work, gearing them out, working more with actually having more spells and stuff to use too within combat. Because there's definitely a lot there. There's going to be a lot to see and a lot to show off.
It looks like there's different kinds of encounters too. They're not all just combat. You've got that story one.
Like that story encounter was pretty awesome. Like sometimes, you're just not wanting to like go like that, and you're like, okay, cool, let's go through some story parts.
See, now I wish we had eaten the bug.
Right. Well, who knows? Maybe down the road you'll pick this up or check it out, and
yeah, I'll eat the bug.
You'll eat the bug.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty cool. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
I think we kind of covered everything. We got to see something new, which was awesome. The game's in a very good state. Like I said, it had a really big day one update, which was 17 gigs, but it shows because like that initial loading screen that we had after the character creator, when I had loaded that in pre-patch, it was flashing real bad. That was that flashing screen I was talking about. Like it didn't hinder or break the game. It's just it was glitching out real bad until it loaded. Obviously, we saw that was fixed, and everything's running good. Like I haven't really had any hang-ups. There's a little bit of loading going on, but there's also like at the same time there's so much that the game does in the background that's okay. But yeah, I think that will be a pretty good wrap on it then.
Yeah, so this is specifically called Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Yes.
And it was out on PC a couple of years ago, and now they're putting it out on console, Xbox One, and PS4.
Yes.
And it's developed by Owlcat Games and published by Deep Silver.
Yes. And it
I think
released fully on Tuesday, so it's out there now to where you can grab it.
Yeah, and so let's see if and there is in fact a physical version for $50.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. On PS4 anyway. Looks like it may only be a PS4 physical version.
Okay.
I'm not seeing an Xbox physical version. Oh no, there is. It's here. Yeah. 50. And it's only 40 if you buy it digital though.
I think it's 40 or 30, I think I saw. And I think that was going by what, like, it might be 40, because I think when I had checked, because I can't see it now, because of having it on my account, I believe it showed as 30 on Steam.
Bring it up. Sometimes, there we are. Pathfinder Kingmaker Edition. 50 for digital on Xbox anyway.
Okay, then it's probably that, because it looks like including everything, because it looks like just a base game on Steam is 20. And it looks like each of these, like, there's one that was $9, one that was $8, one that was 13, and another that was 6. But this includes all of that.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like a pretty good deal, because it seems like there's a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah, and definitely with the quality of it. And like I said, this coming as a Kickstarter game, it's super impressive, because this is like what you would expect from AAA.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Kickstarter lets you do. Lets you get the money from the people that really want it and make something very specific to what you want.
Yeah.
Not having to worry about, is it going to sell millions and millions of copies?
No, we know what it's gonna sell. We know what it got backed for. So yeah, definitely worth a pickup. And Ryan, thank you for joining me for this. It was a lot of fun. Again, another new thing that we kind of tried out. I know you did it once before with Lee with Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, we did. I did it with Lee for Resident Evil, and we'll probably do it again for future games too.
Yeah, and it'll be it's also be a good way, like, once we get ones that, like, maybe it's something you're like. I definitely love to do something like this when you're playing one of the puzzle games, because I play some of them, but they're not my forte. But like, you would enjoy it, so then I can sit in like this and ask questions like that. So.
You mean my factory building games?
Yeah, that too. That too. Yeah, your newest is the factory. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what one comes out next for that.
Oh, I already got one queued up, so.
Hey, I'll be here ready for it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me, and if you're interested in Pathfinder Kingmaker, it's available on everything now except for Switch. I wonder if it'll come to Switch eventually.
I hope so, because it's definitely set up like something that would be great on there. Because like I've said before too, is like, this is the kind of stuff that I like having the Switch for. Is a lot of my games.
Especially if there's going to be a lot of reading and stuff.
Yeah.
Nice to have it in handheld mode and read it while you're.
And it could be pretty cool with the touchscreen stuff, like if they could integrate that. So, who knows? We'll see. But again, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and definitely keep a lookout, because we will be back.
See ya.